The door creaked open like a gunshot in the dead of night, yanking me from a dreamless void into the harsh reality of my bedside clock glowing 2:17 a.m. Julian stood there, silhouetted against the hallway light, his chest heaving as if he'd run a marathon from hell, a single sheet of paper trembling in his fist like a white flag of surrender. "Ryder," he whispered, his voice cracking like thin ice underfoot. "I know everything, and I can't pretend anymore." I bolted upright, the sheets pooling around my waist, my heart slamming against my ribs like it was trying to escape. The room smelled of rain-soaked earth drifting in from the cracked window, a Seattle autumn special that always made me think of fresh starts that never quite materialized. Julian's face. God, that face I'd watched morph from awkward teen to this sharp-jawed young man of 22, was a mask of anguish, eyes red-rimmed and shadowed, the kind of look that said he'd been wrestling demons I didn't even know existed. We weren't blood, him and me. He was my stepson, the kid I'd inherited when I married his mom 12 years ago, back when I was still fooling myself that love could be straight-laced and uncomplicated. But blood or not, he'd burrowed into my soul like roots in cracked concrete, and seeing him like this, it gutted me. "Julian, what the hell?" I rasped, swinging my legs over the edge of the bed, bare feet hitting the cold hardwood. My mind raced. Had something happened to his mom? Elena and I had split 2 years back, amicable on paper but a slow bleed knife fight in reality. She was in Portland now, chasing her art dreams, leaving me with this creaky craftsman house in Capitol Hill and joint custody of a ghost. Julian crashed here most weekends, a ritual we'd clung to like lifelines. But this wasn't a booty call or a midnight munchies run. This was invasion, raw and unfiltered. He didn't move, just held out the paper like it was radioactive. I snatched it, the edges crumpled from his grip, and unfolded it under the dim lamp. My breath caught. It was a letter, my letter, the one I'd written to Elena last spring, after one too many whiskeys at the alibi room, spilling my guts about the ache I couldn't name, the way Julian's laugh lit up rooms I didn't deserve to be in, how I'd started noticing the curve of his shoulders, the way his eyes lingered a beat too long. I'd never sent it, burned it, or so I'd thought, in the backyard fire pit with a six-pack as witness. But here it was, resurrected, words like forbidden and terrified jumping off the page like accusations. "Where did you?" I started, but he cut me off, stepping inside and kicking the door shut with his heel. The click echoed like a gavel. "Found it in the attic, buried under your old guitar cases. Mom's stuff, right? The boxes she left behind." His voice was a whip, laced with betrayal that stung worse than any slap. "You wrote this about me, Ryder. Me. And you just let it rot there like some dirty secret." I crumpled the letter in my fist, heat flooding my face. Not shame, exactly, but the bone-deep fear of exposure. In America, land of the free and home of the brave, we still whispered about shit like this. Stepdad harboring feelings for his stepson? That was tabloid fodder, the kind that ended in pitchforks and disownment. I'd spent my life building walls. Ex-Marine turned high school history teacher. Divorced dad figure who grilled burgers on the 4th and blasted Springsteen on road trips. Normal. Safe. But Julian? He'd always been the wild card. The queer kid who'd come out at 16 with a shrug and a rainbow pin on his backpack, owning it while I choked on my own silence. "Sit down," I said, gesturing to the armchair by the window, the one with the frayed arms from too many late-night regrets. He hesitated, then collapsed into it, elbows on knees, head in hands. Rain pattered against the pane, a Seattle symphony that usually soothed me but now felt like Morse code for doom. "I didn't mean for you to see that," I admitted, sinking onto the bed's edge, close enough to smell his cologne. Something woodsy and young, like pine after a storm. "It was a moment of weakness. Pour it out, burn it down. That's how I cope." He looked up, eyes locking on mine, and in that gaze was a storm I recognized. Hunger mixed with hurt, the kind that had simmered between us for years without a name. "Cope? You've been coping since I was a kid, Ryder. Remember that summer in the Olympics? You teaching me to skip rocks, your hand on my back, steadying me. I felt it then, something electric. And you pulled away like I'd burned you." My throat tightened. Yeah, I remembered. Lake Crescent, Elena snapping pics, oblivious while I wrestled the urge to hold on longer. I'd chalked it up to protectiveness, the fierce love of a stepdad for his boy. But lies have a way of festering. After the divorce, when Julian started crashing here more, those lines blurred. Movie nights turning into all-nighters on the couch. His head on my shoulder, my arm draped casual-like but heart-pounding. Texts at 3 a.m. Can't sleep. You up? And me always up, always there. It's not that simple, I said, voice low. You're my kid, Julian. In every way that counts. And this, I waved the letter. This would destroy us. Your mom. The school. This whole fragile life we've patched together. He laughed, bitter and broken. Kid? I'm 22, Ryder. I've got a shitty barista job, a loft in Fremont that's basically a closet with Wi-Fi, and a string of dates that go nowhere because none of them are you. You think I don't see how you look at me? Like I'm the sun and you're afraid of the burn. The room spun. He knew. Of course he did. We danced around it. Brushed hands in the kitchen that lingered. Silences heavy with unspoken wants. But hearing it aloud? It was like ripping off a scab too soon. Blood everywhere. I stood, pacing to the window, staring at the streetlights blurring through rain. Down below, Capitol Hill pulsed with its usual late-night hum. Drag queens spilling from the Baltic, couples arguing under umbrellas. This city had always been my anchor. Progressive on the surface, queer-friendly flags waving from porches. But underneath, the same old judgments, the whispers that could unravel a man. Julian, stop. My voice cracked. We can't. It's wrong on every level. Is it? He rose, closing the distance, his hand ghosting my arm. Featherlight, electric. Or are you just scared of what it means to love someone who doesn't fit your script? I turned, our faces inches apart, breath mingling in the charged air. His lips parted, eyes searching mine, and for a heartbeat, the world narrowed to that pull, magnetic and inevitable. Then I stepped back, the gulf between us yawning wide. Go back to bed? I whispered, hating the plea in my words. We'll talk in the morning, like civilized people. He searched my face, then nodded once, sharp, turning for the door. But at the threshold, he paused. Civilized, right? That's what got us here. The door clicked shut, leaving me in silence thicker than fog. I didn't sleep after that. Crumpled on the bed, letter clutched like a talisman. I replayed every moment. The day Elena introduced us, Julian all gangly limbs and wary eyes, calling me sir until I insisted on Ryder. Barbecues in the backyard. Him blasting indie rock while I manned the grill, stealing glances. His coming out. Me hugging him fierce, whispering, proud of you, kid. While inside, something shifted, unnamed. The divorce, Elena's tears, Julian's quiet fury at us both for failing him. And lately, the tension. Him lingering after coffee runs, me finding excuses to drive him home. Our conversations veering from safe topics to the raw edges of dreams and fears. By dawn, gray light filtering through the blinds, I was a wreck. Coffee brewed strong and black, the kitchen island scarred from years of family meals that weren't. Julian shuffled in around 8, hair a mess, wearing my old Seahawks hoodie that drowned him. He poured a mug without a word, leaning against the counter, eyes on the floor. We need to talk, I said, sliding a plate of toast his way. Avocado smash, his favorite, a peace offering. He picked at it, then met my gaze. Yeah, about the elephant in the attic. I winced. Look, that letter. It was a fantasy. A what-if scribbled in the dark. Doesn't make it real. Bullshit. His voice rose, fork clattering. You've been pulling away for months. Canceling our hikes, dodging my calls. If it's not real, why run? Because I care too damn much. The words exploded, startling us both. I raked a hand through my hair, pacing the linoleum. You're the best thing in my life, Julian. Losing Elena gutted me. But losing you?
Ide shate.
And this us, it'd be a grenade in that. He stood, rounding the island, stopping just short of touching. What if it's not losing? What if it's finding? The air thickened, his proximity a live wire. I could see the pulse in his neck, the faint scar from a skateboarding wipeout when he was 15. I'd patched it myself, steady hands hiding the tremor. Finding what? Ruin? I'm 47. You. This town talks, Julian. My job, your future. Screw the town. His hand found my arm, firm now, grounding. Screw the future. I've loved you since I was old enough to know what it meant. Not as a dad. As you. The confession hung there, raw and real, cracking open the dam I'd built. I cupped his face, thumb brushing his cheekbone, the stubble rough under my palm. Julian. Our foreheads touched, breath sinking, the world outside fading to white noise. Then the doorbell rang, sharp, insistent, shattering the moment.
Elena.
She texted last night about swinging by for Julian's birthday stuff, forgotten in the divorce shuffle. Panic surged. Act normal, I hissed, stepping back as he nodded, composing himself. She breezed in minutes later, all bohemian flair in flowing scarves and paint-flecked jeans, hugging Julian tight before eyeing me. Ryder, you look like hell. Rough night. Just the usual insomnia. I lied, forcing a grin. Lunch stretched awkward. Small talk about her gallery show, Julian's bar gig, my lesson plans on the Stonewall riots, irony not lost on me. But under the table, Julian's foot brushed mine. Accidental on purpose, sending sparks up my spine. Elena chattered on, oblivious, but her gaze sharpened when Julian laughed at one of my dumb jokes. Too freely, too familiar. By afternoon, she was gone, air-kissing us both, promising holiday dinners that'd never happen. The door shut, and Julian turned to me, eyes blazing. That was close. Too close. I sighed, slumping onto the couch. See? This is what I'm talking about. Secrets on top of secrets. He sat beside me, close enough our thighs touched. Then let's stop hiding. Tell me what you want, Ryder. For real. I wanted to bolt, to bury it all under routine. But his eyes, hazel flecked with gold, pleading, pinned me. You, I admitted, voice a gravel whisper. God help me, it's you. But we can't. We can. His hand covered mine, warm and sure. Slow, private, just us figuring it out. The dam broke then, tentative. A brush of lips, soft and seeking, tasting of coffee and possibility. It wasn't fire. It was embers, banked and building, the kind that warms without consuming. We pulled back, foreheads together again, laughing shakily at the absurdity. That night, we talked till dawn. His college dropout regrets, my Marine days haunting with what-ifs about who I could have been if I'd faced myself sooner. Buried truths surfaced, me, closeted through 2 marriages. Elena, a beard I loved but not like this. Him, navigating hookups that felt hollow, always comparing to the quiet strength I'd given him. By week's end, it was a fragile new normal. Stolen glances over breakfast, hands linking under diner booths during Capitol Hill walks. We hiked Discovery Park, fog rolling off the sound, his head on my shoulder as seals barked below. This feels right, he murmured, and for the first time, I believed it. But normalcy's a lie we tell ourselves. 2 weeks in, betrayal slithered in unannounced. It started with a text from Elena. Coffee? Need to talk about Julian. My gut twisted. Had she sensed? I met her at Vivace, the espresso house on Broadway, steam rising like accusations. She stirred her latte, eyes sharp. He's different, glowing. But it's you, isn't it? The way he lights up around you now. I froze, mug halfway to lips. What? Elena, we're just... Don't. She leaned in, voice low. I found another letter. In his bag. Slipped in with laundry. Yours? From the attic? He must have saved it. The world tilted. Julian had it, carried it like a talisman, but her next words iced my veins. And I told Mark. Mark, her brother, Julian's uncle, the family enforcer. Ex-cop with a Bible thump streak and a grudge against the lifestyle since his own kid came out. He'd hated me from day one, called me a Yankee pretender after September 11th stories. If he knew. Why? I choked. Because he's family, Ryder. And this is poison. Stepdad and stepson? It's wrong. Sick. I'm protecting him. Protecting. The word burned. I stormed out, rain slicking my jacket, dialing Julian on the frantic drive home. Voicemail. Texts unread. By the time I hit our street, cop cars lit the dusk. 2 of them, lights flashing silent, neighbors gawking from porches. Mark's Escalade idled curbside. He stood on the lawn, arms crossed, Elena hovering like a ghost. "No, Julian. What the fuck did you do?" I roared, charging up the walk. Mark's smirk was pure venom. "Took the boy. He's safe now. Away from this." He jerked his chin at the house, at me. Elena wouldn't meet my eyes. "He's confused, Ryder. Mark's getting him help. Therapy. Distance. Help. Like I was the disease." Rage boiled, but under it terror for Julian, for us. "Where is he?" "None of your business," Mark growled. "Stay away or I swear." I lunged, fists clenched, but Elena stepped between, hands on my chest. "Please. For him." They left me there, rain soaking through, the house echoing empty. Inside, his hoodie on the couch, coffee mug ringed on the table. Ghosts of what we dared to dream. Days blurred into a nightmare haze. Elena stonewalled, Mark's threats via lawyer letters. Restraining order pending, custody revocation whispers. I taught classes on autopilot, droning about civil rights while my own crumbled. Nights, I scoured X for clues, Julian's handle silent, friends posting vague worry emojis. Capitol Hill felt hostile now, rainbow crosswalks mocking my fall. A week in, breakthrough, a burner text. Fremont Warehouse District. Midnight, come alone. Heart hammering. I drove through fog-shrouded streets, tires hissing on wet pavement. The warehouse loomed, graffiti-tagged relic from Seattle's industrial ghosts, door ajar like an invitation to purgatory. Inside, moonlight slanted through broken panes, dust motes dancing. Julian waited in the center, duffel at his feet, face gaunt under the beam. "You came," he breathed, rushing into my arms. We clung, his body shaking, sobs muffled in my shirt. "What happened?" I murmured, stroking his hair. "Mark's help. Locked room, shrink spouting conversion crap." Elena caved, said it was for my own good. His voice broke. I bolted, stole his phone, hitched here. "Can't go back." Fury warred with relief. "We'll fight this. Together." But his eyes darkened. "Can't. He knows everything, the letters, our moments. Recorded me confessing on a hidden cam. Leverage. If I stay, he ruins you. Job gone. Name dragged. Betrayal's knife twisted deeper. Not just Mark's, but Elena's silence. The family's fracture. "Screw them. You're worth it." He pulled back, cupping my face. "And you? I won't let them break you for me." The air crackled, our goodbye looming. "Then we run," I said, desperate. "Portland, Chicago, anywhere." He shook his head, tears spilling. "No. You fight. From here. Show them love wins. Even the messy kind. A kiss, fierce and final, tasting of salt and steel. I'll call when it's safe. Promise." He slipped into the night, duffel shadow, leaving me hollow. I drove home to silence, the cops long gone. Elena's key returned via mail. Months ground on, a gauntlet of legal hell. Hearings in family court, Mark's affidavits painting me monster, Elena's testimony a knife. He preyed on vulnerability. Lies all but whispers spread. Colleagues side-eyed, parents pulled kids. I quit before they fired me, took odd jobs. Bartending at the Rendezvous, leading history tours for tourists who didn't know my shame. Julian's texts came sporadic. In Denver. Gig at a queer coffee house. Miss you. Photos of sunsets over Rockies, his smile forced but real. I wrote back volumes, letters digitized, unsent originals burned. Therapy helped. A grizzled vet counselor who nodded at my stepdad dilemma, without flinching. "Love's love, son. Own it." Climax hit on a crisp November eve, Julian's 23rd birthday. A knock hesitant, familiar. I opened to Elena, alone, coat clutched like armor. Rain glistened her hair, eyes hollowed by regret. "He's back," she said, voice small. "Mark's place. Crashed hard pills, booze. Blames himself for dragging you down." My blood ran cold. "Where?" We drove in silence, Tacoma suburbs blurring, her apologies tumbling. I was scared, thought I was saving him. But Mark, he's the poison. His house loomed, McMansion sterile under sodium lights. Front door ajar. Careless or call? Inside, chaos. Overturned lamps. Mark's bellows from upstairs. Julian's voice, slurred defiance. You don't get to choose who I love. I bolted up, Elena trailing. Bedroom door splintered. Mark looming over Julian on the floor, belt and fist, face purple. Freak. I'll beat the devil out. I tackled him, marine reflexes surging, pinning him down as he thrashed. Enough. Fists flew. His nose crunching under my knuckles, blood spraying. Elena screamed, dialing 911. Julian stirred, eyes glassy, whispering my name. Cops swarmed, separating us. Mark arrested. Assault charges sticking this time. His cop ties frayed by evidence Elena provided. Recordings, threats. Hospital for Julian. Overdose scare, but stable. Me in holding overnight, released to Elena's tearful vouch. Dawn in the waiting room, Julian bandaged but awake, gripping my hand. You came. Always. Elena hovered, then knelt.
I'm sorry.
For all of it. He nodded, exhausted. Fix it, or lose us both. Rehab for him, voluntary, 6 weeks in Seattle's best. Me visiting weekly. Reading Whitman aloud in the garden, our hands linked under the table. Mark's empire crumbled. Disgraced, divorced, fading to irrelevance. Elena rebuilt. Therapy, art classes, tentative brunches where we co-parented not just Julian, but us. A chosen family, scarred but standing. Spring bloomed, cherry blossoms dusting Capitol Hill like confetti. Julian discharged, leaner but lighter, crashing at mine full-time. No more steps, just us. We walked the locks, boats chugging past, his arm around my waist, casual now. Dinner parties with his queer friends, laughter-filling rooms once silent. I subbed history gigs, wrote a blog on untold queer stories, anonymous but Julian's proud grin my anchor. One evening, porch swing creaking, his head on my shoulder, city hum below. Changed everything, huh? He murmured. I kissed his temple. For the better. Messy, human better. In America, love's a battlefield, betrayals, breakthroughs, the slow march toward grace. Ours wasn't fairy tale. It was real, earned in rain and ruin. And in that profound, 2 men once divided by labels now whole. Human. Home.